Today is the 3rd of January 2021 and we're in the Destiny Global studio, and we would like to wish you a happy belated Christmas and New Year. We'll be discussing various topics that is on the agenda in the world globally. One, Brexit. Britain has come out of the EU and we are facing a global pandemic, as you know. So we are going into a total depression in 2021 and no one knows what is going to happen. As far as we're concerned, they've discovered 2 vaccines that they said it's not a silver bullet. No one knows what the effects or the impact of this will do. However, we have to look at it and we've got to say to ourselves, the future is now. Are we going to look at 2021 October when our global financial situation moves from 15 trillion in debt to 277 trillion? Is that what we're going to leave our children with? We have to look at things in various different ways. One of the things that I think is very important is the way the government is dealing with this pandemic. If they had got their act together from March, we wouldn't have been on a tier 4 lockdown. Now, 3/4 of the country is in a total lockdown. What is the government doing? Children can't go to school. No one can move. The whole economic situation is in helter-skelter. Why didn't they get a grip of this in March? The rest of the world, apart from America, France, England, I'm talking the third world countries, they seem to get a grip of this. They seem to have less of this COVID-19. We're wondering, why is this? And yet, these countries are supposed to be some of the poorest country in the world. One wonders if these countries are more intelligent in dealing with these things. We were talking about the third world country dealing with the pandemic in comparison to the first world country. Because the first world country seems that they haven't got any grip on this situation, especially America and England. But I'm speaking for England because that's where I am. The British Prime Minister has been just talking up things from one thing to another, and he hasn't come and told the people exactly what is happening. 1 minute he says he's got a cure for this, and then 2 weeks after that he's closing down the schools, he's closing down factories, this, that, everything. We're in tier 4 in Birmingham and the majority of the country. How are we going to come out of this situation economically? We are riding on the back of Brexit. As from January the 1st, the UK is no longer in the EU. Therefore, there are certain economical measures that we will be facing. Who knows what is going to happen? Take, for example, the migrants. If you listen to the Home Secretary, Priti Patel, in what she proposed to do with migrants, that is totally inhumane. Anyone who has now no economic value now cannot enter the UK. And the UK usually is known as an asylum seeker place, a safe place for people to come and seek asylum. You no longer can do that because the government has brought out an Immigration Act 2020, starting from now, that this will not be possible. They have a 5-tier system that if you do not fulfill that system, you will not be granted a visa. Can you imagine that what have these people done to countries that they've ravished, and now these people cannot have access to this country, and all they're looking is for a future to work. I would like to move from here and just go back a bit to the Windrush. We've spoken about the Windrush before. Up until now, the Windrush generation has not been economically complete. They have not been granted their financial settlement. 8 people have died already. The majority of people they sent home to Jamaica, and they don't know if they can come back to this country. And they have nowhere to live, nowhere to go. They came here from small children. And still, the Home Secretary has not addressed this. She keeps giving us verbal after verbal, and it is not being addressed. There is so much things at the moment that is unstable in this country. And we have to look, as the people, we are the democratic, we're supposed to be a democratic country. Therefore, we are the one who have the power. We are the one who should look to say to the government, we are not going to stand for this anymore. We cannot simply sit on our laurels and just take what they have to offer. You can just see the situation with Donald Trump. I mean, I know I'm moving from one situation to another, but that is a very serious situation as well. He has lost the election, and can you imagine having the President of the United States is trying his utmost best not to leave the White House? For what reason? He has lost democratically, and he still doesn't want to come out. Let's look at what he has done. If you look at what Donald Trump has done, he's not only a total racist, he's an imperialist. He's gone into Cuba and he's sanctioned Cuba and tried to destroy Cuba, even though the Obama regime opened diplomatic relation with Cuba and was working with Cuba. But Trump came along and totally dismantled all of that. You know, the whole West seems like they're going in a direction that there's no return. But one thing I can say, whatever they're looking for, the third world country now seems to be the uprising country that is coming to the forefront. We were talking about the imperialism of the first world country. And if we reflect back even in 2007, when Portugal, France, Italy, all the smaller European countries were in financial difficulties and they wanted to reschedule their debts, the European Central Bank did not reschedule their debts. So you can see the power of having these first world countries. They manipulate and use these other smaller countries for their own benefit. Let's go back as well and look at Black Lives that we've done before with George Floyd. We haven't heard anything from then. It's like everything has been just swept under the carpet. There was one big hysteria from then, and then it's just been blown away. I would like to take time out, though, to congratulate some of our stars. Sir Lewis Hamilton, remarkably, he has stood the test of time and he has stand up for Black lives. The Manchester United footballer, Rashford, is the next one who is exemplary. He stood there and he made sure that people still know that Black lives matter. Raheem Sterling, another footballer. So we have to give credit where credit is due. And these people have pushed their necks out and have made it clear, crystal clear, that they will not stand for it. Granted, they've got a huge platform and they use that platform not for their self-gratification, but to assist in Black lives. I wanted to bring that in to all that we're discussing. 1, COVID-19, 2, Brexit, 3, Windrush, 4, Black Lives. And when we look at the situation overall that we're in now, today, 3rd of January 2021, how do we see the future? Well, we have to think of our children and our children's children. The Education Secretary has said that they'll be suspending schools until later down in January, whilst the Inspector of Schools is saying that this should never happen. And I'm asking the public to have a look at this. How can we have children from the March lockdown at home saying they're studying virtually? Not every child can learn virtually. What about children with special needs? How do we cater for those children? Those children are going to be left on the scrap heap. And then, where is their future? We're not a nation that is thinking of humanity. We should be thinking not of our individual country, not UK, not Britain. It is a global situation. We must look at things globally in order to achieve success.